Hello and welcome to AvalonPending. My name is Steven, and today we're going to be doing a how-to, and specifically a how to install Minecraft 1.9 on Ubuntu 14.04 LTS. So I want to preface that with saying that as of this video, Minecraft 1.9 still has a couple weeks until it comes out. But at this point, they have done everything they're going to do, and it's just bug fixes. So I'm going to be using a snapshot update, the most current one, in order to facilitate this installation. At the same time, this is also a good how to install Minecraft Snapshot. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and get started with how to install Minecraft. So the first thing we want to do, very first thing, is we want to install Java. If you don't already have Java installed. If you do, great, don't worry about this step. But if you haven't installed Java, we need to do that. So on the desktop, you can go to the Ubuntu Software Center and just type in Java. And we're looking for Open JDK Java 7 runtime. You don't want to use any of the other Java plugins. This one is the recommended version for Ubuntu, so use that one. And it's just as simple as clicking that install button. Luckily, not everything in Ubuntu, or Linux for that matter, has to be commands, unless you are doing this on a Ubuntu server operating system, in which case, then everything is commands. So let's go ahead and let that install. Alright, so it's almost finished. You can go to progress too and watch, or not. Ooh, we must have just caught it at the end. Alright, so it's definitely installed. So now that we got Java installed, we can go ahead and begin creating our Minecraft server file. So you want to go ahead to Documents, and really you could put this just about anywhere. You can keep it on your desktop if you want. You can keep it, it could go in any folder, it doesn't matter. So we're going to go ahead and create a new folder. We're going to call it Minecraft Server. However, it doesn't matter what you call this. It doesn't matter if it has uppercase and lowercase. It only matters these things when you go to do your startup script. As long as you make sure that you copy exactly what you put in, that's all that matters. But we'll get to that later. So go ahead and you go into the file. And at the moment, it's empty. So we need to fill it with stuff. So the first thing we need to fill it with is our Minecraft jar. So we'll go ahead and we'll go to Firefox. Now, when 1.9 does come out, you're going to be downloading it here. So you go to minecraft.net, and you click on download it here, and you would go all the way to the bottom, and it's going to be all the way down here at the bottom. Download and run Minecraft server, yada yada yada. Currently it's 1.8.8. But once 1.9 comes out, it will be here. And you want to download the jar, not the exe. The exe will only work on Windows. So we'll go ahead and download that. Alrighty. And as simple as that. Now, of course, we're not going to be installing 1.8.8. We're going to be installing the latest snapshots for 1.9. So, in that sense, you will go to mojang.com. This is where they post all of the most recent snapshots. And as you can see, the most recent snapshot is 15W47A. So you go down to the bottom of that particular post, and you'll have the Minecraft server jar. And it'll say cross-platform server jar. And then you'll go ahead and you'll save that. So then you'll just go to your files, you'll go to your downloads, and you'll grab your server jars. So we'll go ahead and we will grab the snapshot update and throw it into our Minecraft server file. And now for the next important step. We have to create a startup script. Now this is very important because this is what you'll always double click or activate to actually start up the server, or to have Ubuntu automatically start every time Windows starts, or whatever the case is. This is what is going to be the program that starts that. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to create a new document, and we're going to call it startup. This also doesn't matter what you call it. So we'll go ahead into the document, and as you can see, it's empty right now. Now I have a startup script that I use for my server. It's very basic. We're going to go ahead and open that. So this is the startup script that I use for my current server. So you would put in these bin bash cd. Now this is the location of where your server file is, and then all the rest of this stuff is for Java, including how many gigabytes you want to have set to your Minecraft server. I know a lot of people say you need to have at least 2 gigabytes, but 1 gigabyte is enough if it's only going to be a couple people playing on your server. I have mine set to 6 because I have more than enough memory on this computer. And then the XMS is like the startup memory. That's not as important. I usually set that to just half of whatever I'm doing in the Xmx. So let's go ahead and get started with the beginning of this. So we want to have this command go into here. In your all the stuff will be in the description, so you can just copy and paste it. However, the only difference is you have to make sure your thing's set to the right location. So then we're going to type in cd. And now this is where you have to go to your startup script. Now at this point, the command that we're going to be putting, the thing that we're going to be putting in, the /home/your name/desktop, this points to the folder. When the startup script begins, it knows where to look to find that jar file. So this is just pointing out the location to the startup script. You have to go to your folder. So you're going to go to your folder, you can go to properties, and then you're going to see here your location. So this will be whatever your computer's set to. Mine is /home/silver/documents. So I would simply copy that and then enter that here. And then you'll have to add in the actual folder itself. So the folder is located in your documents, but we know what our folder name is, Minecraft server. So you simply type in Minecraft. Simply type in Minecraft server. Now the next part is for Java. And again, this is very simple. You simply copy in the first bit from the description of this video, or just by hand, Java, your XMX, and your XMS. And then set that to whatever you like, or whatever you're capable of. If you only have 4 gigabytes on your computer, don't put more than 3 here, because you need to have that extra gig to run the actual system and stuff. So never put in your max memory into this, because then it won't run properly. Now, if you have something like 24 gigabytes, then you have more than enough. For me, I have about 16, so I could put 6 here and be good to go. If you only have 3 or 4 gigabytes, I would say recommend 2. 2 is more than enough for more than what you'll ever need it for. And then I have that set to 6, so I just set that to about half of what that is. That isn't standard or anything, that's just the way I do it. You can set that to 1 if you want to. Now, this next part, after this, you have to get the actual file name of the jar file that you're grabbing. So the easiest way to do that is to just, go to properties and copy that. You can also go to rename and copy it, or you can just copy it by hand. And then finally, we add in this nogui. Now the nogui is pretty much how it sounds. It will start up Minecraft in a terminal, and it won't start up using the GUI. You can, if you want, have it set to GUI, and you would just remove this, and it should start up with GUI. We'll do both ways so you can see what they both look like. But first, we'll start with no GUI. And that's going to be it. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to save that. And as you can see, that top part turns blue and everything turns the way it should. So now we'll go ahead and close that. And the next thing we're going to do is we have to go into the startup script, and we have to go to properties, and then we have to go to permissions, and we have to click this allow executing file as a program. This is very important. If you don't do this, it won't work. Once that's done, you go ahead and click close, and you want to go ahead into the file name, go ahead and hit rename, and you want to make it .sh. Now this will make it a startup script instead of just a file. So now your next issue will be you won't be able to do anything when you double click it. It'll just open up the file again. So what you want to do is while you're in this folder, go up to the very top of Ubuntu, click edit, go to preferences, go to behavior, and you're going to want to ask each time. Now I say this because sometimes you might want to actually display the original file to change, like if you want to adjust your memory or something like that. If you want to set it to run executable, then that's fine. Every time you double click it, it'll automatically run it. This just gives you an option to select it each time. I prefer that. So we'll go ahead and close that once that's set. And now when you double click the startup script, you will get this. And if you hit display, for example, it will open up the file again, so you can change it if you want to. But what we want to do is we want to run in terminal. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to hit run terminal. Now, you have to do run in terminal for this one because we have no GUI. So if you want to be able to see the server starting up and everything, then you need to run in terminal. If we decide to go no GUI, or if we decide to go with the GUI, then we would hit run. So let's go ahead and run terminal. And you will get that. Now it doesn't let you continue. And this is a new thing that started in 1.8 and possibly 1.7. That's that EULA text. You need to go in there. You need to, quote unquote, go read the EULA of Minecraft. If you're going to be wanting to run a server and charge people to do stuff on it, then you're probably going to want to read this because you might not be allowed to charge people to do certain things. Otherwise, if this is just for your friends and it's just for screwing around on, then I wouldn't really worry about reading the EULA. However, if you have time, then it's always recommended to read it. So we go ahead and change that from false to true. This will allow the server to actually continue starting up. If you don't set this to true, the server will never start for you. So we go ahead and save that. So now that we've set that to true, we can double click this again, and this time it should actually finish starting up. So as you can see, it's adding all of our files in there. We have our world file, which is where all of your everything is saved, and it's done. The spawn area is prepared, and the server is currently running. So now, if you go into world, this is all your world files data, your player data, everything's here. And you also have all of your files that you can change. So you can turn on, if you decide to turn on a whitelist, you can add the whitelist names in here. However, it's easier to do it through the command line. If you need to look up those commands on how to add someone to whitelist or how to opt somebody, all that stuff you can find on the Minecraft wiki. So we also have the ops, the banned IPs, banned players, but this is the important one, the server properties. So your server's already running, but you want to go into here to adjust a few things. So when you're in here, there's a few things you can adjust. Starting at the bottom, you have your message of the day. Whatever you type in here, when you connect to the server, that's what it'll say at the bottom. It'll be like, a lot of servers will say, oh, so-and-so server, and then this is what that is. So if you change that, you got that. Otherwise, everything else in here is pretty self-explanatory. If you want your whitelist turned on, you do that. You could spawn animals. You could turn that off if you want. You can reset your max build height in here. You can allow flights. You can set it to not spawn in any NPCs. All of that you can set to. You can set your max players. You can set whether or not you want your command blocks turned on. Everything is in this file. Now, the one thing we do want to pay attention to is our server port. This will be important for port forwarding later on. You can change this if you want, but whatever this is, even if you change it, has to be whatever you use in the port forwarding part. So we'll get to that later, but this is the properties folder. So we'll go ahead and get out of there. And roughly that's it. You have a Minecraft server running. There's really not too much to it. So we'll go ahead and we'll show you the startup with the GUI. So you would double click on your startup script, go to display. Now if you don't want, or if you do want the GUI, you simply remove that and you save it. Close out that. So then you simply go into that and you would hit run. And here it is, your GUI if you want. We are on a desktop version, not the server version, so it's perfectly fine to have this. The only difference between this and the terminal is the looks, really. And it actually shows you your current memory use and stuff. The terminal doesn't show all that. So there you go. You could do all the same commands that you could do in the terminal here. It's just a little bit more of a cleaned up terminal. So now your Minecraft server is running, but only you can access it. How do my friends access it? So let's start with how you access it. If you're looking to access it and you're on the same internet that the server's on, you would simply go up to this little gearbox here. Go over here to your internet, which is those up and down arrows, and go to connection information. And you're looking for your IP address, which is this one for me. And you would simply type this into Minecraft when you open it up and you go to multiplayer and it asks for the server IP. You would type this in and you would add in, so you would type in 192.168.1.67. You would do semicolon and you would type in 25565. That's where that second number comes into play. This is what you would use to get into your own server. Now, what other people use is going to be dependent on how you set this up. Now, I'm not going to go and show you how to port forward, because port forwarding depends a lot on what router you have. All routers are different. Most of them have different settings, so it's very difficult to do an all-in-one type of port forward setup. However, once you've done it a few times yourself, you can pretty much almost do it on any router as long as you know what you're looking for. But with that in mind, we have this portforward.com website, which is amazing. It has all of the routers you could think of to find. So you just simply find your router. In my case, we're going to go ahead and we're going to go to Linksys. And then this will pop up. It's an ad. Just go ahead and go up to the top right, click close, skip past it. If you have ad block, you won't even probably see that. And then we have the Linksys routers. Now, most Linksys routers run off of these instructions, these WRT54G. All Linksys routers are pretty much set up the same way, so they're relatively easy to do. So we go ahead and we click on those instructions. Now it brings you here. This is the last step until you get to how to do it. We have our default guide. This will work. You can use this and be fine. But if you want to have very specific instructions on how to port forward Minecraft, which is just pretty much, the default instructions plus the 25565 and all that kind of stuff, you can click M, and you can go down and you can go find your game. They have lots of games in here. You simply find Minecraft server. And then there you go. You have your instructions for how to log into your router, how to port forward the server, and all the instructions are there. So I'd recommend using this website for port forwarding. And that's it. Once you've port forward your Minecraft server, it's simply your IP address, which you'll find out what it is when you go ahead and port forward your Minecraft server. All you need is so once you've done this, your server will be live to the world. All you will need is your IP address, which you'll be able to find here. You can click on how to find your router's IP address, and it's relatively simple. And once you have that, you would type in your IP address into the Minecraft server, and then the semicolon, then 25565 or whatever it is you have it set to. And that's as simple as that. And you have a Minecraft server running. And this is, it's been the same. It's been like this, the way to do this, for a few updates now. 1.8 works this way. 1.7 works this way. Once you get to 1.6, you don't have to worry about the EULA. And it also, some of the stuff in the folder changes, but how you start it up still works the same way. The last thing I want to talk about is this Minecraft Server Manager. This is like this Rolls Royce of startup scripts. And it works for Minecraft and Bucket servers. And it has a bunch of really cool stuff in it. If you're looking to make a Minecraft server where you have a lot of people on, this is probably something good to have. It does world and server backups, player notifications, and it's just a startup script. So instead of popping this up, you would get like a whole different GUI that has a whole bunch of other stuff you can do. So this is msmhq.com. So if you're looking for something a little bit more in depth to run your server, then I'd recommend going to do this. But what we've done today is a very simple, basic setup to get your Minecraft server up and running. So with that said, that's pretty much it for today's how-to. If I missed anything or if you have any questions, go ahead and leave a comment and I'll try the best of my ability to answer them. Otherwise, thank you for staying tuned, and I hope that you can get your Minecraft server installed without any problems. And again, all of the links and websites are in the description down below. Otherwise, my name is Steve, and thanks for watching this Avalon Pending how-to.
Why the hell do they call it hot? They should call it cold.
But visually, it's stunning.